So when we look at young people aged 12 to 17, it turns out, according to this study, that those who make a public pledge of abstinence are 21% less likely to have sex within 3 years of making that pledge. So, in that case, 79% of them did have sex within the 3 years. And they were probably less well equipped from a sex education point of view than those who've been taught about contraception. So, how do you want to measure the effectiveness of your program? In your words, by delaying the onset of sexual activity, or by teaching young people who do have sex how to do it responsibly. Personally, and probably because I'm an immoral liberal, I think that the effectiveness of the program is better measured by looking at the rates of accidental teenage pregnancy and sexually transmitted disease than how long somebody can hold out before nature gets the better of them. And then, in the heat of the moment, they probably end up forgetting any advice, if any, they'd received on contraception. Now, I'll grant you that peer pressure can play a huge part both in encouraging and discouraging young people to do pretty much anything, including having sex or not having sex. But I'd be interested in hearing where this 21% figure was identified, because how do we know that these teenagers didn't have sex? Surely we didn't do any kind of physical check on them, because that would be entirely inappropriate. The only way that I can think of that these data were gathered is that the young people who were participating in the study were asked. But that raises the somewhat thorny question of honesty. Because, as you say, these young people have made a public statement of purity. So don't you think that that might provide those who actually did have sex, the ones who fell off the wagon, but had pledged not to, with just the teensiest little bit of motivation to lie about it? Or do you firmly believe that Christians don't lie? Anyway, moving on. Your view on abstinence didn't really hold that many surprises. I often think that, if you people just got over your obsession with how disgusting sex is, you'd be a lot less stressed. Probably because you'd be having a lot more sex and enjoying it to boot. But, you don't want schools teaching children about anything other than the basic mechanics of sex, because if we let the schools tell children what's normal, then pretty soon they'll be telling them that homosexuality is normal. And, that would be horrible, because it's much better that people feel bad about themselves, that they feel racked with guilt, so that your religion can prey on their insecurities and self-loathing. And it seems to me that one of the few things that you're more obsessed about than sex is gay sex. And have you ever thought of asking yourself why that is? Why is it that what somebody else does with their sexual partner is any business of yours, and why you're so interested in it? Because I can guarantee you that I do not spend very much of my life at all thinking about, Christians having or not having sex. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me. So why is it so important to you? I think that if you dealt with your own issues, rather than just sort of like projecting, perhaps you'd be a little bit less uptight about things. Anyway, back to your video. So you think that abstinence only works because it's usually coupled with religion. Well, marriage is coupled with religion for you people as well. And divorce isn't exactly unknown in born-again Christian circles. In fact, I have seen data showing that the percentage of divorces amongst born-again Christians is actually higher than the rest of the population. So that kind of puts paid to the idea that God is blessing those families, don't you think? As for your dismissal of the atheist's claim to some kind of higher morality, because atheist morality is discovered and evaluated as opposed to being given as edict and then blindly followed, you dismiss that as fallacious, But that's just a bold and unfounded statement. But again, not much of a surprise, since your religion seems to be stacked to the rafters with those.